Do you find it hard to say no sometimes? In today's podcast, you'll learn 17 different ways to say no, hopefully without offending anyone. Welcome to
Aprender Inglés with Reza and Craig.
Hello and welcome, especially if you're a new listener to this podcast. My name's Craig.
And my name's Reza.
And with more than 50 years of teaching between us, Reza and I are going to help you improve your English and take it to the next level. How are you doing today, mate?
I'm doing very well, thanks. I enjoyed that coffee you made for me earlier with that really nice pineapple sponge cake. Wow. I love sponge cake and I love pineapple. I was in heaven.
I was in heaven too. So whoever made that sponge cake, and you know who you are, thank you very much. I'm really excited to be podcasting again with you this week. It's always a pleasure to get together on the microphone with you. Can you come again tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock and record?
I'd love to, Craig, but I'm a bit busy sleeping at that time in the morning. I'm very sorry.
So notice there, Reza said, I'd love to, but, which is probably what I would generally say if I was saying no to something. Well, I'd love to, but, or I'd love to, however. And there are many other ways, expressions that we can use to refuse something and say no without saying no. Let's look at some examples, Reza.
Craig, I'd like to give you another one of those chocolate biscuits you like, but I haven't any left. I could offer you a piece of cheese.
Well, I appreciate the offer, Reza, but I have to decline. So if you decline, you say no, and it's probably a good idea to give a reason. Why are you declining? So, for example, I could say, I appreciate the offer, Reza, but I have to decline because unfortunately, cheese sometimes makes me sleep badly. So there I've given an excuse. I'm softening the no that I've just given to Reza. Reza, a couple of friends are thinking of getting together and forming a band, a group, and playing some rock music. Would you be interested in joining the band?
Will you be doing the singing?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for thinking of me, but I can't commit to that right now.
So thank you for thinking of me. I can't commit to that right now. So if you commit to something, you make a commitment and you say yes. So there's another way of refusing. You can see all of these expressions in the show notes at inglespodcast.com. Now, what Reza could have said after saying no, by saying, I can't commit to that right now, is that a solution, a way of making me feel a bit better by saying, maybe ask me again in a few months at the end of the year, I'll have more free time and I may be able to join the band. So instead of just saying really no and declining, you could offer a future time or another solution to the problem so that it softens the refusal a little bit.
Craig, I've heard of a little bit of extra work going if you want to earn some money. It's basically doing 6 hours solid of corrections every day. Are you interested?
Well, thank you. I'm really grateful for the offer, but I have other priorities at the moment, so unfortunately I won't be able to do that.
What a pity.
I'm grateful for the offer. I have other priorities. Now, be careful with that because what you're really saying is that you are not one of my priorities. So again, make sure that you explain why and maybe offer a future solution or a future option that makes it softer. Rezo, I have a couple of friends who are also podcasters and they are looking for someone to edit their podcast and they pay very well. Unfortunately, I don't have the time. Would you be interested in editing their podcasts for them?
I wish I could help, but I'm unable to take this on. I've got too much on my plate at the moment, Craig.
You're always eating.
Yes, the plate's always full. No, when I say here I have too much on my plate, imagine that we're food. So metaphorically, if you've got too much food on your plate, you won't be able to eat it all. So you certainly don't need any more food. But it's not really food. Yeah, metaphorically, it's food, but in reality, it's work. So when I say I've got too much on my plate at the moment, I'm already busy with other work, so I can't take on this new work.
As well as saying I've got too much on my plate, you could also say I'm up to my neck in work. There's another idiom. I've so much work, it's up to my head, up to my neck. I'm sorry, I'm up to my neck in work. Or you could say I'm snowed under at the moment. I'm really busy, unfortunately.
Craig, a group of podcasters have got together and we're thinking about visiting some countries where they're fans of our podcast and meeting the fans and talking to them. Do you want to join us?
I'd love to, but I've got too many obligations at the moment. I'm terribly sorry. Normally, yes, but I have too many obligations at the moment. Reza, every Wednesday, a few friends of mine are getting together and they are doing country and western square dancing on the beach here. Now, I know you like music. Would you like to come along?
Wednesday, unfortunately, I can't fit this into my schedule, Craig.
Oh, that's a shame.
If it wasn't Wednesday, maybe, but unfortunately, I can't fit it in.
So if you can't fit something in, there's no time for it. Your schedule is too full.
Craig, there's a group of people who listen to the podcast in Valencia, and they've discovered where you live. And they were wanting to know if you would mind if they put up a special blue plaque commemorating the fact that you lived in this house. One of Valencia's most famous podcasters for tourists. What do you think about the idea?
I'm very flattered. I'm honoured. I'm humbled, but I have to pass. I'm afraid I have to turn it down. So all of those adjectives, flattered, honoured, humbled by the suggestion, that's a way of softening the no that you're going to give. And to pass on something is to say no. So I'll pass on it this time. I'll turn it down. To turn something down is to refuse it. You can turn down a job offer, for example, or you can turn down an offer to go to a country and western dance on the beach, or you can turn down a commemorative plaque on your house. You can refuse and say no. I'll turn it down.
And to flatter is to do or to say something to make someone feel really proud of themselves. So Craig said that he was flattered. It made him feel really proud that they want to put up a commemorative plaque about the fact that Craig lived in this house in Valencia. We can't say where. And in the future, fans could come on a kind of pilgrimage to see where Craig used to live in Valencia before he passed away. You know, we're talking about in 100 years' time. Well, you might
Hopefully.
be still alive, but who knows?
Reza, I've got an offer for you because I'm going away on a cruise in a couple of months, and it's a themed cruise where we pay tribute to Mickey Mouse, and you have to dress up as Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse to get on the cruise ship. And I know you would absolutely love to join me on this cruise. So you're more than welcome to come along. And it's only 2,000 euros.
Only 2,000 euros?
For the week. Everything included.
Wow. And the theme is Mickey and Minnie Mouse. Fantastic, though that sounds. It'll have to wait for another occasion, Craig. I'm really busy then.
That's inversion, isn't it? Fantastic, though that sounds. Because you could say that sounds fantastic.
Yes, but by beginning with the adjective, fantastic though that sounds, or you could say lovely though that sounds, or fascinating though that sounds, or incredible though that sounds, an adjective first, and then though that sounds, you're really emphasizing the adjective. So fantastic, oh wow, fantastic, Mickey and Minnie Mouse theme, fantastic. Though that sounds, it'll have to wait for another occasion. How sad.
I understand, but I am very, very, very disappointed. And so will Mickey be. Reza, a friend of mine has quite a successful YouTube channel, and on his channel he sings choir music every Thursday, and I know you've got a wonderful singing voice. Would you like to join the group and become part of this famous YouTube channel with us?
Craig, you're right. I do have an amazing singing voice, but although I appreciate the opportunity, I need to focus on other things right now. Wow, with a voice like that, it's such a pity I can't make it.
It's such a pity you can't make it.
I really do appreciate the opportunity, but I need to focus on other things.
So notice at the beginning of these expressions, we're kind of paying a compliment and we're showing that we really appreciate the offer and the question. I appreciate the opportunity. That's fantastic. I feel honored. So we're saying something really positive before we turn it down. And then Reza said, I need to focus on other things. I need to prioritize my time. Reza, I'm a bit short of money this month. Could you send me or loan me about 3,000 euros to make it to next month?
I would love to help, Craig, but I'm afraid I can't do that right now. I need all my spare cash. Sorry. I'd love to help. I just can't.
No problem. I totally understand.
Craig, I have here a packet of biscuits, which is chocolate-free, sugar-free, fat-free, and really don't taste of very much. Would you like to try one?
Well, thanks. Thanks so much for asking, Reza, but I have to say no.
Why not? Sugar-free, they're not going to make you any fatter.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and it's very generous of you, but I'll pass on it this time. Now, if you say you pass on it, that's a bit nicer than saying no. People don't like to hear the word no, but there are other ways that you can say no without using the word no. For example, I have to pass on it this time. You can also say, I'll take a rain check for now. So something sounds great, but you take a rain check. That comes from American baseball, where if you buy a ticket to go and see a baseball match and it rains, you don't lose the money. They give you a piece of paper or something. Probably these days it's digital. And that means that you can go to the next game. And in a similar way, you can say no at the moment, but maybe yes in the future. And it's a way of saying no. Thank you very much, but I'll take a rain check. And again, it's important that you explain you're not saying no to the person. You're saying no to the biscuit that you don't really want. So you're saying no to the thing. I'm not saying no to Reza.
Craig, someone had the idea of recording a live podcast on the beach here in Valencia, wearing only bikinis and swimming trunks, surrounded by all the people on the beach. Do you fancy participating?
Would I be wearing a bikini?
Bikini or swimming trunks, whichever you prefer.
As attractive as it sounds, I'm afraid I have to decline, unfortunately, but thank you for considering me. Or I could say thank you for thinking of me.
You did notice, though, that it was a podcast that although you would be in swimming trunks or, heaven forbid, a bikini, there's no video. There's no video, thankfully.
Thankfully.
For that, yep.
How do you know we're not wearing bikinis now? Reza, my wife and I have decided to renew our wedding vows. So we're going to have like a second marriage. And it's going to be next year in Venezuela. We'd love you to come. Can you make it?
Before I answer, whenever you got married, we had a fantastic, really lavish meal, which you kindly paid for.
What does lavish mean?
Lavish means luxury with no expense spared. It cost a lot of money. Everything you can imagine was there. There was meat, there was fish, there was vegetables, there was champagne, white wine, red wine. Are you going to repeat the meal?
No, we're going to have sandwiches on the beach. Literally sand wedges. So we're going to have food on the beach, and it's a very basic, rustic wedding.
I see. When did you say that was?
That's 25th of December, Christmas Day.
In South America, so I had to fly over several hours to get there.
Yes.
Great as it sounds, Craig, I'm sorry, but I have other commitments that day. You know, Christmas Day, 25th December. I think I've got lots of classes then, so I'm sorry, but I have other commitments.
Well, that's a shame. You will be missed.
Yeah, someone can have my sandwich for me. Craig, me and a couple of mates are going to help some homeless people. We're going to bring them some soup and some sandwiches on Sunday morning at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock in the morning?
5 o'clock in the morning.
On Sunday?
Yeah, because it's very cold at that time. They need the soup to warm up. You going to join us?
Well, I really appreciate the invitation, but I can't make it, unfortunately, because I never get up before 9 o'clock. So even for such a good reason, a good deed, a good thing, I won't be able to get up that early. I physically cannot get up, unfortunately. Reza, would you like to come to my fancy dress party next week as Mickey Mouse?
Next week you say. I'm very busy, Craig. I wish I could, because when it comes to Mickey Mouse, I like to say yes to everything. I wish I could, but it's not possible for me right now. I've just got too much work. Sorry. Really wish I could, but it's not possible right now. Craig, I was thinking of starting a new podcast. It's going to be all about the 6 million uses of prepositions in English and nothing else. We just talk about prepositions for an hour every single day, and it'll take us about 5 years to record them all. Do you fancy joining me?
Well, you know I love podcasting, and I'd love to be involved in any project that you're taking on. But unfortunately, I can't take on a project like this at the moment because I'm just up to my neck in other work. But thank you for the invitation.
It's your loss.
I know. And there I used the phrasal verb to take something on, which is to accept it. Remember, to turn down is to refuse. To take on is to say yes. But if you can't take it on, notice that I've put the object in the middle there, take something on. If I can't take it on, if I can't take the project on, then you're refusing it. You're saying no. And again, all of these expressions and ways to say no are in the show notes. Go to inglespodcast.com. And remember, if you try and please everyone all the time, it can be a recipe for disaster and stress and overwork. So it's really important to say no, and it's important to say no correctly and without offending anybody. But now it's your turn to practice your English. Do you have an idea for a future topic? If you do, we would love to hear from you. You can contact us on SpeakPipe. Send us a message to speakpipe.com/inglespodcast. Leave your voice message and practice your speaking.
If you'd rather write to us, you could send an email. You can find Craig at craig@inglespodcast.com or me at belfastreza@gmail.com.
And if you're a Spanish speaker and you would like to study for free, why not visit the Mansion Ingles website? There you'll find some free material, courses, listenings, and lots of stuff to help you improve your English. And there are also some paid ebooks and audios for self-study. You can go to the online store for those at store.mansioningles.net.
And as always, we'd like to thank all our supporters on the Patreon scheme. That's Patreon. And what they do is, for as little as $1.50 per month, they donate that money to the podcast. And as a way of saying thank you, we give them instant access to the audio transcriptions of the podcast. If you're interested, there's a link in the show notes. It's to patreon.com/inglespodcast.
Reza, would you like to join our Patreon program for €500 a month?
Only $500 a month. Charming though your offer is, I'm afraid I just haven't got any spare money at the moment. I'm very sorry.
That's okay. No problem at all. And thank you so much to our Patreon supporters. We really do appreciate all of you. We don't know what we're speaking about next week, but there will be an episode next Sunday. Until then, have a great week. Thank you for listening this week. It's goodbye from Reza.
And it's bye-bye from Craig.
The music in this podcast is by Pitts. The track is called See You Later.